Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show on Facebook and Twitter. One last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now, we are joined by Neil, 10th Man, Patsoid and Chocolate Saiyan, together with a whole bunch of people in Discord, so welcome one and all.
4 more hours.
Hey.
Good morning, Earth Debate, baby, yeah.
Goedemorgen.
Good morning.
Good morning, good morning. Very enthusiastic lot. Excellent. Almost a whole week of enthusiastic good mornings at the beginning of the live show. Couldn't be more pleased. Any signs of a physical geometric sphere edge horizon, formerly known as the curve of the Earth?
Definitely not. Any Globus want to challenge that?
It's only in the maths, right?
Well, we could summarise their position if no one pipes up. Just give it a couple more seconds. Is there any newbies I've not taken off mute? Fuck it.
Don't do that because they might think it's our position.
Yeah, well, Chocolate, you're way ahead of me. That's precisely why I'm going to do it. So, the current, well, no, not exactly, because I'm going to give their rebuttal. Their current rebuttal is to say that we don't see a geometric physical sphere edge horizon. It can't be seen and can't be measured, even though it's the basis of the maths. That's their rebuttal.
Yeah, refraction. But how do you get refraction without having a geometric horizon?
That's not a rebuttal. They may assert that here. That's not a rebuttal because their refraction is using the R value, the very thing we're asking about its physicality, and their claim it blocks things. Well, they're saying that the refraction used in your claim to be a rebuttal, but isn't, is based on that R value. So the fact that you can't see or measure that R value by way of a geometric physical sphere edge horizon and a dip angle measurement utilised by Al-Biruni or anything other than that, you can't use R to move the horizon with R if you can't measure R. So that's not a rebuttal.
Hey,
Nathan?
Hello.
It's not a rebuttal, it's a concession.
Yeah, exactly. It implodes the model. It puts the model into a paradox. Whoever that was in Discord, yes, go ahead. And shout out to Troy Door for the
Nathan,
super chat. Thank you. Yes.
Hi. I have a question. I've been listening to you for like a week now, and you guys make a lot of good points, but you do, the same questions every day. I was just wondering, how come you guys don't like take it to the next step and try to do an experiment? Like you guys buy a rocket, put an iPhone on there, send it up, something
up where
that could
okay,
help
sure.
out your
send
claims.
it up where?
Like I seen on YouTube, an amateur rocket that went up. I thought you guys could do something similar, a balloon with a phone.
Yeah, for what purpose? What are we looking for with this imagery that comes back? Where's it going, and what are we looking for in the footage?
Well, because you could do, like you guys are going through these questions every day, but if you never do an experiment,
yeah, I heard that. We heard all
you're
that.
You're just going to be talking.
I heard. I don't need you to repeat
talk.
yourself. I heard. You don't need to repeat that. My question, I'll repeat slower. What are we looking for in the imagery you say we should acquire?
To see what's up there. Isn't that the whole point of the discussion?
What's up where?
Above our heads.
And that's going to prove what now?
it's going to prove your claim that, you can't have vacuum without a physical barrier, or it's going to prove their claim that you just fly out into space.
I see. Number one, that's not a claim I make, that's natural law. You mistakenly think that my claim that you can't have gas pressure without a container is a claim, when it's in fact natural law. Inviolable. Do you know what inviolable means? Not a claim I'm making, not something that needs proving. Inviolable natural law. So you can't have gas pressure without a container. I believe we covered this with you personally less than 24 hours ago.
Yeah, no, we spoke yesterday.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, I know. I haven't got a short memory. So you appreciated and conceded that the sky is definitely not a vacuum yesterday. Less than 24 hours.
I agree with your.
So why are you now challenging me?
That.
So you agree. So thank you. Why are you now challenging me to send some balloon up to a sky vacuum when I can already disprove it and have done with you personally within the last 24 hours? Why would I now need to send a balloon up when, by your own words, and now Fundy muting through my demolition of your claim that you think I need to now disprove, even though I've already done it within the last 24 hours? What on earth would I be trying to achieve, given that I've already achieved it with you personally within the last day?
Well, it's achieving would be, let's see what is we're actually. If you just sit here and do this debate every day, it's just words going back and forth.
Third repetition, I heard.
See what
I heard.
Can I
Do you think I need it 3 times? Hello? I don't need you to repeat your claim 3 times.
Can I finish my sentence?
I heard it the second and first time you said it. I don't need a third repetition, you dumb fool. I heard, if you're going to sit here doing the debates, then you need to go out and do an experiment. You think I need it a third time, you dumb cracker? I heard. I asked you what it was going to achieve. Obviously. Don't talk through me, you fundy fuckwit. I'm telling you, I've already disproved the sky is a vacuum. You've told me to send up a balloon to try and prove it either way. I've already debunked it with you personally, and your response is to repeat the same thing for the 3rd time and tell me you need to get to the end of your sentence about debates and what they're achieving and not experiments. I heard. I'm not deaf. So, we're not going to be going up to disprove a sky vacuum with a balloon then. Your suggestion is ludicrous, pointless, absurd, and I've already debunked the thing you're trying to get us to try and disprove with this nonsense. Do you understand?
So we should never go out into reality.
You can concede that the sky's not a vacuum already because you've already done it within the last 24 hours, you idiot.
No, yeah, you could prove your logic.
Yeah. So we don't need to go up in a fucking balloon. You've already conceded it's beyond the constraints of natural law. I don't need a balloon. Hello? So what else are we looking for? We're not going to be disproving sky vacuum. I've already done it. So anything else you think we should achieve with this balloon you suggest we send up?
No, we should just...
So shut up, you stupid dick. Sit down with your balloon suggestion and know your stupid place here. That's to shut up, listen to the educated people and not suggest things that you're not doing when I've already disproved the point it doesn't make. You stupid idiot. Now sit down and try and comprehend the things we tell you. Okay?
Yes,
Good
sir.
dog. Sit down and know your place, you idiot. Send a balloon up. You send a balloon up.
You nonce.
See what you see, moron. See if you see a sky vacuum when you send up a balloon, rather than challenging me on what I do. I do this daily. I've made more strides in this subject than you've had our dinners. Don't tell me what to do with a balloon when you've already seen them on YouTube not disproving the sky vacuum, and I'm doing it with natural law. For you, within the last day. How short's your memory, you thicko?
No, I'm just saying...
Don't just say anything. Sit down and shut up. Know how stupid you are and how much you're getting told off for your stupidity by a flat earther. Understand your place. That's being told off by me. The flat earther who knows what's what has already told it you within the last 24 hours, and you see fit to challenge with some absurd claim that can't be disproven with a balloon. Do you understand me, you idiot?
Challenging anything.
Yeah, you are. You're challenging me to send a fucking balloon up to disprove a sky vacuum because I've tied you down on what you think you'll achieve with this shit. And it won't. What it will achieve is 0. You yet to tell me what else you think this balloon I should send up will achieve. It won't disprove a sky vacuum. Natural law does that. You already conceded it, you idiot.
So if you sit in your house all day just talking...
So you want to ad hom me now if I sit in my house all day? This is my job. Sat in my house. I call this my studio. It's my job. How dare you? The amount of people who work from home at the moment, and you're going to criticise me from doing this from here? You're going to criticise half the fucking world? They're all working from home at the moment, you stupid idiot. You think that's going to be a successful ad hominem attack?
It's not an ad hominem.
Yeah, what? You sit there at home? Yeah, I do. Pummeling your globe faith based on natural law. Not balloons I should send up, idiot.
If there's no action, just talk, then you'll never find the truth. That's what.
That's an ad hom. Talk. I've described the annihilation of the sky vacuum by way of natural law, the entropy law, the increase of entropy that would dictate that we wouldn't have any air to breathe. You conceded it within the last 24 hours, and you're now telling me I'm not achieving anything because I'm not sending up your balloon to disprove a sky vacuum I've already debunked. You're a moron.
Go take some of your YouTube money and go...
Now that's an ad hom number 3, so you can get the fuck out of my show. You're not going to sit here and ad hom me 3 times in a row, you stupid dick. You'll be berated for your stupidity. Not, oh, you can take some of your YouTube money. I'll use that to feed my family. That's what I do with this money that I earn here. Limited though it is. However, my main purpose at the moment is berating a moron who thinks sending a balloon up will disprove something he's already conceded is fake. That would be the sky vacuum. Yeah, moron, the thing you conceded on yesterday's show? You asked what happened yesterday, 10th. This dick globe believer conceded the sky is not a vacuum. It sits directly in violation of the second law of thermodynamics. If the sky was a vacuum, the gas we breathe would fill the space. Without the container, there can be no pressure. And yet this dick sees fit to come here and challenge me to send a balloon to disprove something he's already conceded. What a wanker. Then chooses to ad hom me about how I earn a living because I'm at home when half the world is at the moment. What a dick.
What is people's obsession?
Dude, if you want to disprove natural law, then why don't you try to do it? You know?
Yeah.
The point
You're breaking up,
making is I'm here in South Africa, wherever he is in America. We all know, he knows scientifically, paint dries. Now he's telling me he has to come all the way to South Africa to make sure my paint dries. That's what he's saying.
Are you still trying to weasel in that you're a paint scientist?
Yeah, I wear the lab coat.
So for those of you who aren't in the live show, just so they're in on the in-joke, Flatsoid was trying to claim he's a paint scientist in the pre-show, and I defined that as pseudoscience, but he's still banging that drum, right, Flatsoid?
I was just joking, by the way.
Yeah, okay. Many a true word. You think your science is paint, which is fair, man, because...
That's hang on.
It's very easy to be a paid scientist. You just ask somebody, hey, you want to pay me 10 euros or something over PayPal for me to prove that water boils at 100 degrees? Science.
But
Nathan, how many housekeeping questions do we have?
Hold on. Flatsoid's trying to get a word in.
Moment.
Just one sec, Neil. Go ahead, Flatsoid.
Who's triggered?
Nobody's triggered. We're trying to get your words in. Go ahead, Neil. Not Neil. Flatsoid.
No, the conversation I was trying to get through to that guy was just because I'm here in another country, and scientifically, you know, with everything, paint does dry. It's the same as he's saying, yes, he knows paint dries, but he has to come to me to make sure the paint dries. That's how stupid it is.
Yeah, I see your point. Neil, go ahead.
I was going to ask, how many housekeeping questions do we have at the moment?
7, is it? Or 8?
Oh, okay, so the good thing would be for somebody to have an answer for these housekeeping questions. Until then, we're going to keep going on and on and on because we have proof and they have assertions.
Yeah, that's correct. But what actually happened there was pure projection. I would prefer you were just one of those flat earthers sending balloons up, rather than getting me to concede the sky is not a vacuum. It would be much better for me if you were just sending balloons up. That's what that actually means.
So then just go burn some money then. That's the equivalence.
Yeah, and also his resentment at the fact that me pummeling his globe faith actually earns me a living. Horrible. Oh no, you earn money. Speaking of money, shout out to Sean Tibbets. He says, bump. Thank you very much for the super sticker. Also, Rakia Life, thank you very much indeed for the super chat. It says, Happy Friday. I support those who I think are spreading truth. Rakia Life, I'm touched. Thank you very much indeed, Rakia Life, for the super chat. I really, really appreciate it. Tough times, tough times. Thank you very much.
Shout out, Life.
That's Dave.
I'm glad I found this show, to be honest with you. I'm actually very glad I found this show. Shout out to David Weiss.
That reminds me.
Well, that's the last time.
Hold on, just before you go, just one sec. One sec. Can you remind me after the housekeeping questions, Neil? Your shout out to Dave Weiss. I want to cover that. Just remind me. Go ahead, 10th.
No, I was going to say in the pre-show, I said, hey, because I had to go yesterday. I missed most of the show. I said, hey, anything happened on the show? No, not really. And then this guy comes today. I'm saying, this is the last time Flatzoid and Neil are going to give me commentary on what happened on the show the day before.
Was that the after show, Nathan?
I couldn't remember. I don't remember this. I won't remember this once the show finishes. Nevertheless.
It wasn't after show.
What are you talking about? And hello, by the way.
Okay, let's just fill Arwin in.
Hey, Arwin.
Hold on. Arwin, hello, first of all. We forgot what happened. I tend to switch off the moment the show finishes and just concentrate on the admin of publishing stuff. But that meant unless I watch the show after the fact, I can't really remember what happens. I'll forget this pretty soon after we finish. But there we go, that's me. And we were asked what happened, and we were like, I don't know. I think Arwin had a bit of a set to about one of his models, and then stormed off before he got pissed off. Came back a bit later. That's about it. In other words, nothing happened. And then the guy who actually conceded space is fake, who's a globe believer, came in and was like, about space that's fake, you should be sending up a balloon to debunk it that way, rather than sitting here debating and earning a living. That's what he said. In summary, I'm paraphrasing.
Okay.
So, Arwen, you took our thought of a train yesterday. Congratulations.
Well, that's just not the case, though, is it? Obviously. So he took even Arwin's debate for his model, which eventually at the conclusion he stormed off rather than getting stroppy about it, which I defended you on in the pre-show, Arwin. They were like, Arwin had a Mardi. I'm like, no, he didn't. He got to the end of the argument and then went away rather than getting stroppy about something personal to him, which was very wise. So you got credit from me, and everyone else was like, hey, had a Mardi. Here you go, guys. I'm throwing you under the bus for Arwin now. You can defend your own horrors.
Well, I just left because I knew basically won my argument. And it was cleared up and everything, and then I was just too pissed off, So I don't want to throw out more rage win for no reason.
Exactly. That's exactly what I said.
Love you, Arwen.
That's exactly what I said before it turned into Arwin getting actually triggered. And I've seen Arwin triggered. He definitely wasn't. He went away. That's very wise, I think.
Thank you.
Anyway, let's do the rest of the housekeeping. Can we just rattle through them?
Sure.
Any evidence of
maybe the next level? Try the next one.
Okay, any evidence of axial rotation of the Earth-based variety?
No.
Reference frames ruined.
Thanks, Dan. Thanks,
I don't mind the replies.
No more reference frames.
Just one more time?
Cannot claim Coriolis and conservation of momentum at the same breath.
I'm thinking this is a good time to send up a balloon.
Well, go ahead then, Dan.
Will the Earth be rotating underneath that balloon?
I think that's what he's getting at. He wants to send up a balloon to see if the Earth is a globe and it's rotating. Maybe he wants to find the horizon. See if the horizon rises to eye level. I don't know.
I was looking for Flatzoid's video, but I can't scroll up through the chat and I can't remember which one it is. So can I just get somebody to quote Simon Dan, and then we'll move on to the next one.
You and your reference frames have been ruined.
Perfect. Any evidence of the distance to the sun?
No evidence.
It's over
Please,
there.
Arwen, not today.
It's over there, shining bright, and I don't know what it is. It appears to be there.
It's not
It's
shining
a
by
light
me.
in the sky. It's a light in the sky. That's what it is.
Yeah, it appears to make you burn if you stand long enough under it.
I don't know. I think that more has to do with the light hitting my skin. rather than any object or apparent object being out there.
These are all wrong. I look it up and it says that you can attain gas pressure without a container because look at the sun and look at the stars.
Okay.
This is again from the pre-show. So a quote from some nobodies, presumably on Quora or something. It's basically saying, I appeal, in the same way Thunderfoot did, to my idea that these lights in the sky are actually burning balls of gas in a sky vacuum. So when you ask, how could the sky be a vacuum? All the gas we breathe would fill it. I just pointed it and say it's a vacuum, and that proves it. And when you ask me how we can have gas pressure here without containment, I say, check it out. We've got gas pressure and no containment, proving it. It's just circular reasoning. But that was the example given by Neil, and we named and shamed the authors in the pre-show.
Well, what do you think the sun is, Nathan?
How would I prove it's a burning ball of gas in a sky vacuum, Neil? I don't know. Maybe I should get to it. Maybe I should send a balloon up.
But how do you know it's burning in the first place?
We don't know anything about it. This intangible object.
Because when you zoom in on the apparition, it kind of looks like you could interpret it as something burning. Kind of looks a little fiery, I think.
Doesn't it give off heat?
Let's just draw a line under this. If you burn things in the atmosphere here, under controlled circumstances with spectroscopy, you can get a signature of the light that is burnt. And then you can assert that the light is also burning in the sky vacuum and producing the same signature. Therefore, it is the same by way of coloration. That's the wrong word, isn't it?
Correlation.
Correlation, that's the one I was looking for. It's correlated with the spectroscopy done under controlled circumstances. So that's where they get their information in terms of what they say it is. Moving on.
Can I add one thing real quick before you move on, Nathan?
Feel free.
Thanks. Good morning, guys. I know sending a balloon up is absurd, but what about like an Explorer yacht? I know I've heard 10th mention it once or twice. I was thinking about doing that myself. How do you feel about finding out what's out there through exploration?
I didn't hear the question.
Well, Bennett, I got it.
Again.
He's talking about an Explorer yacht instead of a balloon, like navigating the oceans on an Explorer yacht.
Oh, I see. Go ahead, Tent.
That sounds fun.
Yeah. So,
dude,
so
Zeppelins.
yeah.
Freaking Zeppelins, guys. Come on.
Hold on.
Right.
Go ahead, Tent.
Yes, you can get a nice Nordhaven that's made to cruise the oceans. You can get a Benetti. There's a nice one coming out. Hasn't been
I don't
built
think that's
yet.
what he's asking.
Right. No, you're right
I-
about the Nordhaven 10th. I love Nordhavens, but I mean, just as opposed to sending a balloon up in the
Well, hang on,
sky,
I'm getting to,
how do you feel
well,
about
I'm getting
exploring?
to it. Okay. A balloon would be a lot cheaper. Okay, but if you're going to do an Explorer yacht, you're going to have crew. You're going to have range, at least 8,000 to 16,000 mile range. So you're talking a lot of expense. So we're trying to still finish up Nathan's panels in his studio at the moment.
But then don't forget, you're also going to have the correct papers and stuff for different parts of the ocean. I mean, they've got a lot of restrictions where you're allowed to go.
Listen, I got a navigator who's a baller who I follow and have been in contact with. He doesn't know I'm a flat earther, though. And he would be a guy I would invite if someone was to fund such a trip. If someone was to fund such a trip, it'd be in the millions of dollars. It would take at least 5 years. So, yeah, if someone wants to fund it, I can run it at no pay. Just let me go on the journey.
According
As
to
long as
people, Nathan can fund it.
Yeah, you and your couch.
Speaking of cash,
Smash
thank you to Rakia Life again. He says, happy Friday again. I support those who are spreading truth. Rakia Life. This super chat is science. No, it isn't. Repeatable, natural, and anyone can replicate. Oh, how sweet. Thank you very much indeed for the super chat. Rakia Life. Really
Well, I
appreciate it.
kind of agree. That's like a cause and effect, isn't it? Him sending you money. And
I
then you
hate to
doing
disagree with the
something
super
money.
chatter, right? But no. Shout out to Del West Watson,
Judo
who says,
signs.
all hail Death. Indeed, all hail Death. He's in our chat right now. Hey, Death, good to see you. I'm going to come to something about Death after we finish the housekeeping, if Neil will remind me. Not that I'm going to forget by the looks.
You're going to give us dearth on dearth?
No, not at all. There is no dirt on Earth. How dare you even suggest such a notion?
No, that's a pot. That's the good stuff. We're going to get the real dirt on dirt from you because you like dirt.
You don't put any dirt on the boss. Don't you know he's the boss?
It's not dirt, it's dithr. Say it right. No,
Ditrah.
nobody says it right.
Ditrh. I was going to contact you. I just didn't get around to it. I was going to. My intention, although I didn't do this on one of the most recent videos, it was the debate between Ed and myself about a helicopter not having Earth turning underneath it at 15 degrees an hour, as is asserted it should. And my intention, although, like I said, I didn't get around to it, was to request Dave Weiss's footage of a drone just watching the sun. Because effectively that is, because from memory, he's got one that's up there for ages, comes down, charges up, goes back up again. But it's just looking at the same spot. It's essentially in what is claimed to be the inertial reference frame with Earth not turning underneath it. It's a really, really useful demonstration. I just haven't got around to asking him for the link for it.
So-
Maybe.
So his
I have been
demonstration. So his demonstration actually validated my balloon demonstration. Right?
Exactly. It's exactly the same as your balloon demonstration. Precisely. It's the same thing.
Hold on. Don't drones have auto-correct? Basically, if a wind blows, that they keep themselves in place?
Glad you brought it up. So
Uh-huh.
let's assume that that's correct. Let's go with Arwin's suggestion. So it's suggested that the drone takes off at the equator and has got motors and GPS tracking that can compensate for the fact that it's now in a second inertial reference frame detached from the Earth spinning underneath. So that would suggest that the motors in that drone can compensate for 1,000 miles an hour drift. Arwin.
Well, not very close to the Earth's surface.
It's still got to cope with the second reference frame that's claimed.
No, I
Yeah.
wasn't claiming that it corrects for Coriolis. That's what a baller would do. But I do know that they have this mechanism for sudden wind shit and all
Sure.
that. Not all drones, by the way, but the more expensive ones do. And I think David has one of those.
I appreciate
have
that.
such
And
a
yes, I'm sure
stable-
that's true. I'm sure it can keep it in the
stable
same spot
footing.
relative to the wind and so forth if it moves in its location compared to GPS. However, if it's going to be utilising that as is often used as a defence when they are claiming the drift they actually have as their rhetoric, that would require it to compensate for 15 degrees an hour turn of the Earth underneath as a non-inertial spinning reference frame. Well, if that was the case, then the drone would have to compensate for 1,000 miles an hour on the equator. So the drone goes up, you push the stick, it's then in the inertial reference frame, not attached to the spinning reference frame. Well, therefore, you're going to watch that drone, if it's true, and we do have 15 degrees an hour turn of the Earth underneath as a non-inertial spinning reference frame, you're going to watch it appear to drift away from you. That means it's actually going to drift away from you at 1,000 miles an hour. And if you're suggestive that the GPS could cope with that, it would mean that the motors would have to compensate for 1,000 miles an hour to keep up with the ground that's moving underneath it. Now, I know you're not saying that, Albin. You're just saying, yeah, they can compensate for it moving about a bit in the wind. That's nothing to do with the second reference frame that would be turning underneath. If it's true, as they claim, we have 15 degrees an hour turn of the Earth underneath second reference frame.
Right.
Can I just bring up 2 points?
So there would be clouds moving at 1,000 miles an hour as well, and everything else. And hey, if
Yeah.
you're going to feel all that, there would be constant giant gales of winds.
Absolutely, you're spot on. All directions of surface winds. So no, we've got multiple directions of surface winds, which comes up in the rebuttal. They say, oh no, it's all travelling together. Number one. So no 15 degrees an hour deviation then. One's not drifting apart from the other at 15 degrees an hour then, precisely as you claim proves Earth spins. They travel together, no drift. Yeah? Also absurd. We've got multiple directions of surface winds. You can look up and see clouds moving in different directions at the same location. Absolutely absurd. Maris, who's one of my Patreons, shouts out Rakia Life and says, shout out Rakia Life. Thank you very much for the super chat, Maris. Really appreciate the support. Also, another shout out to Rakia Life. Happy Friday. I support those who spread truth. Last super chat proves pseudoscience. We can pay the bills. Shout out to David Weiss. Indeed. Thank you again for the hat trick of super chats, Dave Rakia Gafford or Rakia Life. Really appreciate the support. We were going to rush through the housekeeping.
Nathan,
Go on.
also don't forget angular velocity changes with altitude. So when you're on the ground, it's supposed to change 460 meters a second on your feet. So imagine a drone that's, let's say, a kilometer above. It's going to be much more than 460 meters a second.
Yeah, and all that's coping with is the cause of a Coriolis deflection, if there was one. So the deflection itself is you on a ground that's spinning under stuff that isn't. That's what gives you Coriolis. So it's coined, I can't remember by who, as being like the Coriolis vision, because it's not an effect that has anything to do with the momentum, the actual trajectory of a projectile you watch. So the drone in this example has got a trajectory and movement and power going to it to make it go up in the air. Well, all of that has sod all to do with Coriolis deflection because it's only ever observable by you on a spinning platform. So to see it, you've got to be spinning underneath it. Sod all to do with its powered flight or otherwise, because you're just observing something that seems to drift away from you when it's hovering. If Earth's turning underneath at 15 degrees an hour, as they claim, and we simply don't observe that effect. Flatsoid's balloon, David Weiss's drone, they are perfect examples. The Earth is simply not turning underneath these items at 15 degrees an hour, and it's supposed to. They claim it does. They claim it turns under footballs and bullets, and we're supposed to be turning under the sun because we're a second reference frame, 15 degrees an hour, right? Bob's claimed to have proven this, right? They're in my comments at the moment, the trolls, and they don't want to say, thanks, Bob. There's just a handful of them that have got it as their screen name, and their immediate reply from me is, quote, Simon Dan, you and your reference frames have been ruined. And whose reference frames? We haven't got any.
According to Ed, the reason why we don't see it, how could there be any deflection if there's no course, Nathan?
Then there's no deflection. The course would be apparent. In other words, you'd see it happening, it would drift away. It's like he's asking me why, if there's no deflection at 15 degrees an hour, how can there be deflection? And then calling me an idiot. It's like, well, you're telling me there isn't any deflection. It's not drifting away. But that should be apparent. I.e., you should see it happen. 1,000 miles an hour, it should drift away on the equator. Apparent, meaning it should actually happen. Not happen, and then ask us why it's not happening. Earth's supposed to turn underneath at 15 degrees an hour. We're all well aware of this now. You know, we can actually kiss Bob and thank him for it. Thank you, Bob. Everyone's now well aware, thanks to Bob and Netflix, that it's claimed Earth turns underneath at 15 degrees an hour. That would shorten flight times and have drones whizzing away from you at 1,000 miles an hour. That would be apparent. And isn't.
No, but Ed was...
I got something for you from Ed and Master B.
Right. But
Okay.
I wanted to clarify while people look that up, what Ed really was so frustrated about. He got so pissed off because he was like, why are you bringing this supposed Coriolis deviation of the spinning Earth up when the helicopter obviously is not deviating, Nathan? That is really what he was doing, I think.
Yeah.
Because you could hear it in his voice. You could hear he thought he had an opening. My bad, Flatsoid. I was going to say you could hear. Go ahead.
Apparently, there's some ballers trying to get in to talk, but they say the room is full. Can we make a space for them?
For who?
Whoever's not participating in Discord, get out and let the ballers in.
Yeah, negotiate with your own ballers if they're not talking. You know, don't talk to me. I'm running a live show. Anyway, I've got this Ed Freeze chat up. Arwin, you mean when I bursted out in laughter because Nathan ruined himself and his straw man reference frames? Yeah, that was amazing. Yeah, keep debunking your own reference frames. You can put it on me all you like, Fundies. I'm actually encouraging it from now. Debunk my summary of you and your reference frames that Dan says are ruined. Feel free to keep debunking when I've summarised it and falling into the same trap as Dan. There's a guy in the comment section that keeps saying there's like Shatu 949 where I detail how a guy would drift. It's like, yeah, you guys claim drift. I'm detailing how drift occurs. And they're saying, there you go, there's your straw man that Simon Dan's debunking. It's like, no, that's me summarising your claim. But feel free to keep debunking it like the idiot Simon Dan has done. Great, kudos. My reference frame, no, I don't have any. But you claim 15 degrees an hour drift as Earth turns underneath. Drones and bullets and balls and helicopters. Oh yeah, we don't see it happen. That's bad.
I really don't get these ballers. Why do... When you were literally lighting out how Simon Dan did that for so long, so intensely, obviously we laughing about it very hard because it's such a stupid mistake. Why are people following suit? Why are people following him in his tracks like he actually solved something? This is so absurd.
Let him head first straight into a spike-filled, feces-covered trap. So you want to find a show where I summarize how drift occurs. Yeah, that's me summarizing how you and your reference frame describe a 15-degree-an-hour drift as Earth turns underneath. So you want to debunk me summarizing that? Be my guest! Fall straight into that pit with Dan! Great!
Dan and Ed.
They're all doing it at the moment. No, it's your reference frames. Okay, go on then, debunk them. Show us how we don't have drift. At 15 degrees an hour to prove Earth's turning underneath. You debunk that. Go ahead. Be my guest.
Well, I think that Simon Dan was first, so I think that technically he really is a fallacy pioneer, and the others are following him.
Yeah, Dan's going to lead these lemmings straight off the edge of the cliff.
Can I call out Mr. Pudding? He's challenging me in Discord. He says I must challenge him out, sir. I'm calling him out. What's up, Mr. Pudding?
I haven't finished housekeeping, you know.
Yeah, just want to see if he's a coward or not.
Any scientific evidence of gravity?
Scientific evidence of what?
What's the speed of a gravitational wave?
Any scientific evidence of gravity?
What's the speed of a science?
Would that be F equals ma or EM squared?
Is that a cause and effect relationship established with an independent and dependent variable, validated by systematic experimentation, or would that be a bit of maths?
Shit, I got nothing, sorry.
Any scientific evidence of gravity? Going once.
Would be thinking of it as a force count as evidence?
Can we think of it as something? That's definitely not science. That's not even a phenomena.
Yeah, then we got a problem. Because the only other thing that's left is basic conceptual mediums, and yeah, they don't have anything empirical about them to establish science, unfortunately.
Let's widen the net a bit. Any single viable hypothesis at all from any of the fields of astronomy, cosmology, or astrophysics?
Not even from paintology.
Oh.
No.
Well, I want to make a small joke, though.
Feel free.
Maybe it's in the field, but I think that probably astrophysicists predicted satellite space debris. Did you see the video? From
Geo.
What's a satellite? What's a satellite? Where's a satellite? What space? And how is debris coming from there if it violates natural law?
But they predicted it, and now it's common knowledge.
Would that be a Mystic Meg, Nostradamus prediction, or a scientific prediction, otherwise known as a hypothesis?
I think it was mostly a mathematical prediction.
Abstract.
About the conceptual medium and setup and all that.
Okay.
Sorry,
with presuppositions. So.
Let's just give it clarity then. When I say viable hypothesis, I mean within physics.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's a dead end then.
Are you trying to say something that's in a violation of nature is a problem for another thing that's in a violation of nature, which is not predicted because entropy will take place no matter where it is?
Yes. Super Chat Day says, Sean Tibbets, it certainly seems to be. I'm not moaning. Thank you very much for the Super Chat. Yeah, any evidence you can have gas pressure without a container, and as it's on screen, if it's claimed that this black area is 10 to the minus 17 torr, vacuum, the most powerful vacuum indescribable, and this is high pressure gas, not filling it, that would be a violation of natural law. Any evidence that you can have gas pressure without a container?
Can you have volume without containment?
Send the balloon up, Nathan, and you will find that evidence.
No, flatsoid.
Oh, so Negator is wrong then.
Negator's wrong. They're all very wrong. They all think the sky's a vacuum. They're nuts.
Yeah, they think gas falls down, go boom boom.
Oh, shout out to Thunderfoot, clown. Gas does not go down, go boom boom like bouncy balls in a fish tank with a single downward vector of gravity that's 105 years out of date. No. All vectors. Gas expands in all directions to fill the availability of volume. Call yourself a PhD, Thunderfoot. What clown? How humiliating.
I still don't know why they insist that outer space has to be a vacuum, to let go of the idea that there might be a huge amount of volume out there. I get that that is very hard, but why would it have to be a vacuum just because the storytelling tradition told them it is? It could just be a giant amount of gas-filled space. Giant amount. Who knows?
Well, Owen, they're throwing that out the window now as well. They don't want it to be a vacuum anymore. Now it's just a very low pressure system.
Yeah, but it should not even be a very low pressure system, just slightly lower. Slightly.
Yeah, okay. They say it's 10 to the minus 17 to a vacuum. Definitely not the case. Sky's not a vacuum. Hey, Brian.
Exactly. Hey.
Hey Nathan, hey everybody, and I just want to say a big special hello to our resident paleontologist, Flatside.
Painting isn't science. Flatside might be good at his job, but it's not science.
To Arwen's statement, why they don't want to change what outer space is. Well, these are the same people who say the science is settled, and at the same time say science doesn't prove things.
Body of science, Nathan.
Which branch
I don't
of science?
think it's the designers that say that. That's just the public relations figures. Really. The talkers on camera say that. I don't think that the people actually bending over how it's supposed to work say that.
No, my point was, if we were there when whoever started this and had these housekeeping questions, they would say that because they want to push something without evidence and then claim that the way they do it is obviously scientific evidence.
Like the Ballers, when they had their housekeeping questions a few months ago, which only lasted for what, a few weeks?
One episode.
Yeah, you're right.
They're so all over the map with their statements. They even attribute something to Sir Isaac Newton that he didn't even want it attributed to him. That's how bad they are.
Yeah, but it wasn't even fully coherent sentences.
But they hold positions.
At the same time, Newton technically isn't really part of the supposed foundation anymore. No?
Yeah, but they used them for several hundred years until they didn't have a need for them, right?
Yeah, but that's because they were old and stupid. We, with our computers, are much smarter in the modern age, right? Right?
Right.
I think that's irrelevant.
We're finished housekeeping.
I want to hear about the Earth moving up. What's this general theory of relativity crap with the Earth moving up, man? I mean, this is the new hotness, gravity, right? Why aren't the Globers in here in force on this, man? Come on.
But they're not literally saying
they got your back.
Up. They're not literally saying it's moving up. They just say you can see it as if the motions were the other way around. It's basically making you thinking in the Coriolis perspective. That you think about reference frame, and then you can interswitch that if you just drop the dreaded sensation of falling off a building and shit.
That sounds like pretend.
Yeah, you see chocolate, what they do is they take
it's moving away from an anchored Euclidean position into relative reference frame thinking. That's exactly what it does.
Yeah, they take a flat disk, and then they say you're going up, and then because of bending space warp, it's just wrapped around the globe. Simple. Going straight, but you're looking as you're curving.
It's weird. Mr. Veritasium over there thinks that there are more than one reference frame. He spoke about numerous reference frames in his video. So whose reference frames again were ruined? Like I'm confused.
Let me answer that. I'll address the globe-believing fundamentalist religious zealots with this statement. I'm going to take ownership of this statement. You, globe-believing fundy zealots, and your reference frames are ruined.
Thank you very much.
I'm just reminding you about DITRH. I don't know when you wanted me to, but I'm not.
And the housekeeping. I haven't forgotten. I covered the half of what I did want to cover already, but the other half I'll cover after housekeeping. Any evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth?
Negative.
Only in your imaginations.
Only in the books that they made up. Those guys.
Not
Any
so
evidence?
far. Not so far.
Any evidence of the R value? Earth radius.
Dominus radius, so
I think that's it. That concludes housekeeping.
No.
Go on, whoever that was.
It was
No?
just me saying no. There was no.
Oh, okay, no. Yeah, well, that concludes the housekeeping for certain then. Okay, so I'm currently stood on the main channel, that's Nathan Oakley 1980, at 19,000 subscribers. Now, obviously, I'd love to hit the milestone of 20,000 subscribers, so I started to research how do you grow subscribers? And what did I come across? I came across a lot of very attractive females, much younger than myself, twerking for subs, and things like that. And upon finding out the various ways that other people appeal to their audience to subscribe, I didn't think any of them were very applicable to me. So I then went back through my stats and racked my brain, which brings me to you, Neil, mentioning dearth, about how I have actually grown the channel. Now, whether or not this channel shadow banned by YouTube or shoved down the lists is irrelevant, there is a very distinct way that I've grown the channel, and that's from people actually mentioning me, like Dearth. So the only reason we have the dulcet tones of Neil on an almost daily basis is because Dearth mentioned me, and then he came and subscribed. I think you might have also said the same about Globusters, the guys from England. That might have been 10th Man.
Yeah, that was me.
Right. Well, those are the places that I see growth. Same goes for Eddie and various other people who've shouted me out that have got bigger names that I've cut out and used at the beginning of videos because they're good shout-outs. However, the same applies to almost anybody who's watching that's got even the remotest of audiences. You know, a shout-out from somebody, or maybe even, like some people do already, trim out a little clip that they think is relevant to the subject matter and, you know, publish it with a link to my channel, because that's the only way I can see that this channel actually grows. Now, it might be optimistic to think I can get to 20,000 subscribers by the end of the year, but I know, based on my stats and where they're going, I'm going to hit 5 million views by the end of the year, which is a fairly astonishing achievement when you think about it. This is still a very, very small channel, and it's all very small increments of growth. But as I say, that's what I'm appealing to the audience for. The only way I can see, unless you want to see me twerking for subs, is that you shout me out. I mean,
Don't
when I say
do it, Nathan.
I'm not going
Don't
to
do
twerk for subs, but I will appeal to my audience to say, you know, if you can shout me out, even if you've got a small audience, and by small audience, I'm like, you know, if you've got 100 people subscribed to you, that's an audience of 100 people. Where, you know, if you get 1% take up, that means I grow by 1 sub. And if you can shout me out and the audience can be increased, the effectiveness of what we do here is increased. The potential for more live participants is increased. Also, the panel.
Nate,
So there's a lot of... Go on.
shout out to Nathan.
Yeah, but I'm more appealing to people who've actually got an audience to pass the information on. So it's only when it's put in front of somebody that it wouldn't already be in front of. Now, that could be the example with 10th Man, with Bob saying the guy's out in UK, and him going, oh, what guy's in UK? Or Dearth specifically talking about me, or Eddie Bravo specifically talking about me. There's been growth as a direct result of that. Well, it's not growth because I'm lucky enough to have one of my videos stuffed on the front page of YouTube to reach an audience that didn't already know about me. It's only when people who share my stuff, in whatever means that is, reach somebody that hasn't heard of me, that I will grow. That's literally, as far as I can ascertain, the only way the channel grows. Hence, I say it at the beginning of every single show. Please share the show. It'll increase the live audience, but it'll also increase the diversity of the panel. And I couldn't be more sincere when I say that. That's why I say it every single show. But, like I say, when I've looked at the stats, what directly correlates with growth is where another YouTuber has said, Nathan's a good show, go and watch him. And that causes me to grow. So if I can't twerk for subs, the only thing I can do is appeal to other people who've got viewers, even if it's a small number, or a perceived small number. Give me a shout out. I'll e-beg for shout outs rather than twerking for subs. Do you know what I mean?
Have you ever thought of, you know, those advertisements on side of buses and stuff? Ever thought of one of those?
Adverts on what?
On side of the buses or billboards.
I mean, if you're just trying to raise awareness, I think those are excellent means of doing it. And speaking of raising awareness with billboards and things of that nature, that's precisely something that DITRH has done. And when he did have a small direction to as an instruction or a call to action, which those again need to have if they're going to be effective, he was directing people towards flat earth clues at the time. Now, don't get me wrong, if there was a sponsored billboard campaign that directed people to flat earth debate as opposed to flat earth clues, you know, that would be wonderful. But I'm not in any way suggesting that, nor can I afford to put a billboard campaign together. Even if I did, it would be effective only in my very limited area. So I don't think it would be a great idea.
Nathan, sorry, Flatside.
Go on, Brian.
You can always set up a
Go, Brian, go.
All right. Yeah. Okay, I'll go instead of flat side this time. Yeah, I have no idea. What about if you made a video detailing who you were, what you do, and detailing some of the people that come onto your show? I'm talking about like QE and Dr. John D and Adam, and who they are and their credentials, like just some of their credentials, and other people that come onto the show. Maybe like Dave Rakia, he has credentials in some. I'm not sure what Dave does, but he's some form of engineering and different things like that. So, and ask people to share just a video, just maybe a 10-minute long or something. Just ask other channels to mirror and share it out there. So for people to see that Flat Earth is not a load of people wearing tinfoil hats, that there's people involved in Flat Earth who are not like just sitting in their bedrooms all day. You know, there's people who have careers and who are actual scientists, and people who work in engineering and different things like that. You know,
I get what you're saying.
There's even you know,
like
that kind of thing. I was thinking.
Yeah, it's a bit kind of Butlin's introduction to the crew at Butlin's, though, isn't it? Stars appear on the screen and quantum eraser. I know what you're saying, but what you're saying is put together an advert that someone can just mirror. Well, yeah, I had thought of that and I considered it, but it's like if I'd done that and, say, for the sake of argument, Eddie Bravo had mirrored it on some obscure channel, what would it have done? No good. But in conversation with Santos Bonacci, saying Nathan just rocks or destroys or whatever word you use, I forget now, that's far more effective. So in whatever way is easy and, you know, for whatever person. So let's say you've got 100 subs on your channel and you're like, I don't know, I'll just trim out a little bit of this particular video. It's dead easy. And then, you know, if it's just a comment underneath or something in the info box saying, go and subscribe to Nathan, get him to 20,000 subs. Because that's literally what I'm appealing to people to achieve. So why not be overt about it? Just say, yeah, that's exactly what I'm asking you to do. I'm not going to beat around the bush. That's what I'm trying to achieve. I think it's a lofty order. I think it's a tall order. I don't think I'll actually achieve it. I'm a bit skeptical. But by the same token, if you don't try these things, you're never going to achieve anything. And no one will ever shout you out. If you don't say, hey, can you shout me out? You got a channel, right? You got 100 subs on your channel. Yeah, shout me out. Go on. I might get a sub out of it.
Well, did you ever think you were going to achieve the amount of subs you have now?
Yeah, I thought I'd have 1 million by now. What you talking about?
Oh, my bad. So much for modesty.
I'm very pleased with where I am. I mean,
rather than doing the twerking stuff, which is a joke, you ought to do a rap song like Chocolate. You'll get subs.
It's not about me producing more material, though, because where am I going to appeal to? I'm going to appeal to the audience I've already got. Statistically, you're... I think, I can't remember the exact, it's basically 80-20 subscribed, not subscribed. Well, given the amount of trolls that I know aren't subscribed, there's a very small percentage of people who are coming to my videos that aren't subscribed already. You know, when I see people who've got 1 million, 2, 3, 4 million subscribers and are putting out videos that are getting tens of millions of views with memes or something, they often put at the beginning of their video, check out my stats, only 10% of you are subscribed. So they've got the complete antithesis of my problem, which is that they've got nobody's dedicated to meme videos, so hardly anyone subscribes, and proportionately they've still got several million subscribers, but they're moaning about not having, you know, a dedicated audience. Me, I've got nothing but a dedicated audience. So if I put an advert, it will be, you know, I'm preaching to the converted, whereas the converted who are converted already have potentially got an audience that aren't already catered to by me. And how can I get to that audience? Well, through the people who are already subscribed that may have an audience of their own. Now, in the case of, obviously, if I just appeal, it's a bit cheesy if I just say, hey, Bob and Dirth, can you make me an advert? I just sound like a weasel. Whereas if it's like, well, no, actually, utilising the success, although it's limited, of this channel, if you've got 100 subs or something. I mean, don't get me wrong, if Dirth was to make me an advert off the back of this, I'd be kissing his ass forever. But that's not exactly what I'm appealing to. I'm appealing to anybody who's got an audience at all. It's like, why not?
Well, wasn't there
They have
one time?
merchandise.
Wasn't there one time a few rappers who were being noticed on YouTube and internet searches for saying flat Earth?
Yeah, it's happened a few times.
Yeah,
Right. So
Yeah, and
so
then
my
Neil
whole thing-
deGrasse Tyson had to deal with them.
I know
Yeah,
what you
so
should
chocolate-
do, Nathan. Sorry, guys.
So Chocolate could be the ambassador for the rap group.
We're talking about
I know
B.O.B.
what you can do. Yeah, but I know what you can do, Nathan.
Shoot. Tell me.
You can just photo. When you see some reporter talking somewhere, just go behind there with your flat Earth debate.
Oh, that's a
I
great
see.
idea. Chocolate saying doing a rap, promoting people to watch Nathan Oakley 1980. Get on it, Chocolate.
His rap is already promoted.
What?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I would
look,
say
just
B.O.B.
no chocolate,
would definitely share the show.
Let's get that clear. There's no obligation for anyone to do anything at all. I'm just saying, I'm throwing out ideas because I know that I'm never going to be twerking for subs. So, what else can I do? I'm just going to
Actually,
throw it out
Ferrari
there.
that's worked for you.
Thank
Wait,
goodness.
I have a good
I'm never-
idea. I have a good idea that's really down your lane. Basically, utilizing your talents, which is mauling ballers. That's what we all love you so much for. Mauling them with arguments, an attitude, a good attitude, strict attitude. So, what if you do a marathon? Like, specially invite the ballers, the annoying ones, and all giving them a go.
That's
And
a
let's
good
see
idea.
how long you can hold it out.
You know what? That's such a good idea. I might do it daily. I could call it Flat Earth Debate. I already do that, Armin.
Okay. Well, that's why I said, like, if you have like a non-stop live marathon, let's say 4 more hours.
No,
That's what this is.
24-hour marathon. You
It's
hit
just
it.
an appeal
You
for
hit it
4
on
more
the
hours. 'cause
Hours.
You guys
Yeah,
have
yeah.
a problem. You guys have a problem.
The live
ballers are
show's
too
coming to an
scared
end.
talk.
Appeal for 4 more hours. I get it.
Guys have got a problem. The ballers are too scared to talk.
Who's too
Yeah,
scared to talk?
that's true. They don't come on no more. When they do, you get the likes of Ed Freeze, and he debunks himself.
Yeah, well, let's get them on. Zanuck and Chaiki and Rumpus and Ed, all of them.
Well, they've
Come
become
on, anyone.
footnotes.
There should be someone that wants to talk.
They become footnotes, haven't they? So they get edited down and then stuffed out after the fact on QE's channel to show how humiliating it is. It's nice to reminisce, but yeah, that's why they don't come back, because they get annihilated. Obviously, at the time, they claim victory. But with reflection and constant publication, you're not going to... if you don't realise it, you're thick. So they're going to realise how badly they've been destroyed. Even though at the time they're going, I'm doing really well.
You mean like the guy who came yesterday and conceded to natural law and the vacuum against air pressure, came back today and tried to get us to send up a balloon? That kind of?
Well, yeah,
that guy.
the guy that's gone from, let's go check out these absurd flat earthers to, hang on, this doesn't work. Well, he's, like we discussed at the beginning of the show, somebody who's stepped into cognitive dissonance. Well, that's one path on the road, right? Not everyone's, but for a lot of the people who come here, if not most of them on the globe side, that's where they're at. Welcome, one and all. With that, I'm going to say a huge, massive, enormous thank you, first and foremost, to both Discord and G Plus Panels for making today's live show possible. If you are watching on either Nathan Oakley or Nathan Oakley 1980 channel, however, stay tuned as there will be an after show to follow. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
What a lovely day!